Player reborn under Mikel Arteta. Let's quickly hear from him. He's with Des.
Granite, we can see from those celebrations, the rain's not stopping that kind of happiness there. That's a big win, isn't it?
You see the atmosphere, it's fucking unbelievable.
Sorry about the language. That's one. Carry on.
Yeah, you can see the atmosphere is unbelievable. I mean, from the start until the end, I think we deserve to win today. We was much better team today. And yeah, we are so happy that everything is going well at the moment. We are keeping everything what the coach is telling us, and these are the results.
It wasn't always pretty, but you have to grind out a result sometimes, don't you?
Listen, after the season, nobody asks you how you win in November or December or January. So we are trying to get a lot of points as possible, and after, let's see where we end.
Duels all across the pitch as well, and a little bit of scuffle at the end. As you expect that emotion in this London sort of derby.
Of course, the derby. These two teams have big history, even if they play against each other, and this is football. You need sometimes stuff like that.
And with Manchester City's late penalty, you had to respond today, didn't you?
Yeah, a little bit lucky for them, but if you play over 60 minutes with one less, I think you deserve a win to win.
Let's get you inside. Well done.
Thank you very much, Des. Yeah, apologies for the bad language there, the passion and the desire coming through on the football pitch from Granit Xhaka today, and a little bit in front of the camera as well at the end. So congratulations to him, congratulations to Arsenal. This is a really significant win, and we will hear in detail as well from G.Potter, who's also our guest today, who knows what it's like to manage in these big games, and we'll be getting his thoughts on just what Mikel Arteta has managed to build at that football club. Let me just remind you, next weekend we've loads of action from the Ring, Fight Night from York Hall on Friday, plus Saturday we've a fighting double bill with Denzel Bentley going for the WO World Middleweight title at the same time as Molly McCann's UFC bout at Madison Square Garden. A fortnight later, Zach Parker takes on North Londoner John Ryder for the Super Middleweight World title at the O2, with Tyson Fury returning to the ring a week later, coming up against Derek Chisora at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Well, they've done it. They're back on the top of the Premier League table. And there's the winner. There's the moment. Chelsea struggled today. We'll talk about where things went wrong for them, but it was so good, so right, so impressive from Arsenal. All the reaction after the break. City, that if Arsenal are going to turn their dream into a reality and win the title this season, they will need a 90-plus point season. The last time they did that, 19 years ago, when they were an invincible team. However, there is no doubt about it, Mikel Arteta is building something special. G.Potter is alongside us. And look, when you're a manager, of course you want wins, you want to play good football, but you also want to create this kind of almost ethereal thing that you can't grab hold of, which is a culture and a winning spirit. Did you see that today?
Oh, yes, for sure, I see that. I see a team all round, to be fair, out of possession, in possession. The fine margins of these games are, they've won a game on a set play, and you know, these are the aspects of a football match in top games that you need. This is a team at this present moment in time, we said it at the top of the show, really, a well-oiled team. A team that looks like they've got a real mentality about them as well. And, you know, these moments for Mikel will be the moments that you really try and harness a little bit as a manager. These are the moments.
How do you do that?
Well, you keep going over exactly where we are. There's nothing physically you can say. The evidence is here. We've come to Stamford Bridge. Big game. Man City have gone and got a last-minute goal yesterday to go top of the league. Chelsea coming off of a poor result last time. This is a huge game today with a lot of pressure. And you come out of this winning, that change room will be absolutely bouncing, no doubt. And I'm sure Mikel won't have to say a lot today. But leading in Monday morning, debriefing Tuesday, there'll be massive references on this, and also references to build this team up, to let them understand and let them know they've got a right chance this year, a massive chance, and they've put themselves in that through what they're creating now.
What have you got for us on the touchscreen?
I think Scott touched on it there, in that they're going to be harnessing some of the good things that they've done as a confidence builder. And I think today, as much as anything was out of possession, how good they were positionally, they were almost perfect. I'll take you through this clip here. And Mendy playing out. Yes, you can play out, but just watch the approach. Just these little details like this from Jesus there, going in there to make sure that the centre half with the ball has to go that way. Then the team can then all lock on, get onto your men, press, make sure you get against people and don't allow players at any time. And here they're in control. I talked about it before the break, controlling the opposition when they got possession. Here you see, yes, you can go that way. Look how quick he makes sure Saka there gets his head down. Cucurella has no time to look up. He gets right up against him and all the bodies in behind him. Creates mistakes, creates a little bit of lack of belief at times. And here, from this point on, it's just pure bullying. They're up against people. They're able to get in contact with people. And then they can start recycling possession. And for an opposing team against this, it's awful. It's a sea of red shirts in front of you, making sure that you can't get your head up. And then what I mean, they're getting chances off the back of this. That's the important part when you look at these things. It's not just about pressing the opposition. What happens thereafter? This is another great clip here. Again, Chelsea have decent possession, it seems, but again, the starting point, the focal point, the trigger is there. Watch the way that Jesus curves his run, but then making sure you have to go this way. Thiago Silva has to come out this way. You can't go back. And then at this point, all of the players are then locking on again. There you go, look, straight away. This is almost like a mirror image of the last clip, but I'll show you the little difference here.
Big factor as well, really. Look at the distances and how compact this team are. Whenever the ball is back with Mendy, whenever the ball is in around the back four, back three, halfway line, the distances between any group or any units of players is always 10, 15 yards. This gives you the feeling, you know, for large parts this game's played on half a pitch for Arsenal. Much bigger, much easier to cover and give the sense of that real, yeah, this is tight in here, this is... The two centre-halves for me and the 9 are a massive factor why this team this year, the two centre-halves, you can only do that with these two centre-halves because you're leaving big spaces behind you where you would know...
And that point is a great point. Look, this space here has been vacated by Mason Mount's run out here. And this is what he wants. They're waiting for Aubameyang to come in. But look how tight Saliba is. Saliba don't give him no space. So go on, I dare you to go in there. I'll be with you. Straight away on him. Thiago Silva makes a mistake. And then look at this. The bodies then, because of the spaces like you mentioned, there aren't many. They're there, ready to pounce. And this actually ends up being a corner, which leads to the goal.
Yeah.
So you're getting your rewards from your real aggressive and brave defensive shape.
It's roles and responsibilities, isn't it? Every player knows exactly where to be. Jesus, though, is a player that's in a lot of those clips. And we talk about, you know, a lot of talk today about Aubameyang, but Jesus, I thought today, was really leading that line brilliantly. And he does that both with the ball and without. The work rate that he has when they're not in possession of the ball, I think is a real example to all those young players. And then they switch in and they just lock the team in. Chelsea couldn't get out at times today.
Let's have a look then at the goal that came from that corner. And we can praise Arsenal all we like. What about question marks over Chelsea's defending for this corner?
Yeah, you're always disappointed massively when you can see the set play goal. Havertz, I don't know why Havertz has gone so front in that front zone. His starting position there is quiet. It just creates that space. And at that moment, Arsenal are very good at attacking this near post space from corners and set plays. They scored a lot of goals in this area last year. And certainly this year we faced that when we was prepping it. They're really, really good at making good runs into that near post space where anything, own goals, little touches like you see there, can cause massive problems.
Havertz has got to do better there, hasn't he?
Yeah,
he just swings a lazy leg.
Probably he's got a little bit deeper and then he can come onto it rather than starting high and then running back. Now he's running back and the ball's coming back and now he's got a lot of things to deal with rather than if he starts in an early position forward, he can move forward to attack the ball and there ain't a combination of things in terms of his movement which is going to cause him a bit of an issue.
I think it's important when we talk about this game that we remember that Chelsea are at a different point in their evolution. They've obviously got loads of injuries and we'll discuss that in a bit. But actually from an Arsenal perspective, this should fill some of those Chelsea fans with hope that with time, with the players, bringing in players like Jesus, improving players like Saliba, allowing players like Martinelli to come into the first team, this is what you can do when you're a manager that has a project like Arteta's had.
But they've had a project and they've started from top to bottom. The hierarchy have said and outlined this is what the project looks like. This is the man we believe in. Don't forget Edu in terms of the technical director as well. All those components have been fitted together and now there's a belief and they've built that over time. And what I think when you're setting that project up, like Arsenal have, the hierarchy have to understand there will be bumps in the road. That's inevitable. But can you roll with those punches? Can you go through that and still maintain the belief with all the outside noises to get to this point? That's the difference.
Arsenal have brought in a manager in Mikel Arteta and they've gone with how he wants it. This is Mikel Arteta's team. When Mikel Arteta says, I didn't want this player, I want this player. This is my game model. This is what I need. The two centre-halves are a prime example. So Mikel Arteta knows what attributes he wants at centre-half. These are the attributes I need for my team, my game model and the way I play. Now, if there's any sort of dysfunction along the organisation, and someone else is buying in another centre, you don't get that. You know, I do think this is.
It's very much Arteta's team now, isn't it? You know, and you look at every compartment of that team, I don't see a weakness. Yeah. You know, whether it's better than City is another matter, but at the moment, that's as good as I've seen in many a year from an Arsenal team.
Talking of City, what an impact Gabriel Jesus has had on this team. Should we have a look at some more of his work today?
Well, I mean, the thing is, he hasn't scored in 9 games now, but does it really matter when he's doing this sort of thing? He pinches it there again, picks Loftus-Cheek's pocket, great defending to deny him. And his work rate, he just wants to get round and work. There he should finish. This is what he's being paid for. But these are the other things he does. Zinchenko's gone forward and he's gone to left back there. That's Arsenal's centre forward. Working hard for the team, Rio. It's great to see. When you're a defender, you see the front players working like this. It really is.
I said in the game, it'd be a nightmare to play against for all of it he does off the ball. What I would say, I think, is which is probably underrated or doesn't get touched on much, is his in-game intelligence of where to be on the pitch. The way he sniffs out areas in the pitch where he can cover for someone, where he can be to enhance the team at that moment in time. Yes, he's not getting the goals up, but I think they will come. I don't think he's been bought to score 35 goals.
The ultimate team player, isn't he?
He's a team player, and the way they function, he enables others to be able to perform. Look at his touch map over there; it's crazy.
He's a dream 9 for me personally, an absolute dream 9. Modern game 9s. First and foremost, you need to give us a platform out of possession. That's how we need to build our game, and most coaches now see that he's second to none. How he can slow an attack down just from his angles to stop a pass going through the lines, and then on the flip side of that, has got the brilliance and the silkiness at times to bring people in. He's when you sign a player, when you're recruiting players, you're ticking boxes. What league they're coming from? Have they played in this league? Is language going to be a problem? Is it? You've signed a player there that's practically ticked.
And the team he's come from, everyone's talking about Haaland and how good he is. And he's like, well, do you know what? I wasn't going to get a chance there. I was sat behind Aguero. I did that for so long. And now they've brought Haaland. I'm not doing that again. He's been given his wings, to be fair. His manager, Pep, is something that I like about that. He's allowed him to leave. And boy, is he performing. And he wants that badly. He wants to stop his former teammates from winning a Premier League. And the challenges have been set now by Arsenal. That has raised the bar at their quality, their performance today.
I think people are going to keep talking about goals because he's a number 9, of course. But he brings so much value to this team that I'd argue that no other player in this team, there would be a bigger drop-off if they left the team than him. Yeah. Arguably maybe Saliba, but Gabriel Jesus stands out.
And, as you know, success leaves clues, right? So you have to keep ticking the boxes when you're going to... Who knows if they're going to win the Premier League or not, but you keep ticking boxes as the season goes through. And this is another big tick for them to come here, perform like this and get this win.
I think for 2 reasons. Yes, it's Chelsea, a big club, who are competing for the top 4 as well. But I think when you get a result like you had yesterday, with Man City winning so late on, these guys would have been watching that game. And the emotions that fill you at those moments, this is a rival going for the title, even though this early in the season. But it is, all of a sudden, big pressure then goes on to this game. Can you deal with it? Yes, they did.
Well, let's actually pick up on that because I'm delighted to say that Mikel Arteta joins us now. Mikel, first of all, congratulations, winning your 150th game in charge of Arsenal.
Thank you.
Rio was just talking about Manchester City getting that late win yesterday and then you responding today. How much did you think about that ahead of this game and the need to respond at the top?
Well, obviously, we want to get back and being at the top, but obviously the competition is so difficult in this league. The job was for us, I think the challenge for us was to come to this stage against a top team in the league and play and perform the one we've done today and deserve to win the game, and the boys did that.
Well, all the guests in the studio have been talking about what impressed them the most with Arsenal today. What impressed you the most?
I think for such a young team, the maturity that they showed, the composure they showed, the resilience and the courage, I would say, to play the way we wanted to play, it was phenomenal. And it's easy to say before the game, but actually to do it on the pitch against this opponent and this kind of players, it's a different story.
Mikel, it's Rio here. Great result today. The scenes at the end, there seems to be a real belief, a togetherness that's kind of built in this team now. Are you feeling that from within as well?
Absolutely, we've been saying that for a while, but obviously winning in these stadiums against these opponents, I think, is an extra thing. I think it's another step for this team, for this player to keep believing that they can do it. They can do it in under pressure and against big opponents, and we have to enjoy it because what they've done today, I think they deserve a lot of credit.
Boss, Martin here. Just wanted to say, first of all, congratulations. I thought the
Thank
team was brilliant again today. Lots of talk about the number 9 playing for Chelsea today, but Jesus, his performance, I mean, we're just talking here, he covers every blade of grass, and the example he sets those players, you must have been really, really pleased with him.
The energy, the belief that he transmits to the team is just phenomenal. That's, in my opinion, his biggest quality. His all-around play today, I think it was phenomenal. How he competes, how he holds the ball, the movement, the anxiety that he creates in the backline, the uncertainty that creates for the opponent is something that takes us to a different level, you know, and we said that from the beginning, and he's done it today again. He didn't score, but what he did for the team, I think it was outstanding.
Mikel, it's Rio again. Just another thing we touched on just shortly after the game was the way that you kind of dominated the opposition today without the ball, in the way that you pressed them. Is that something that you really have to work hard on the training ground, and are you pleased with what you're seeing at the moment?
Absolutely, but the boys are willing, and they are physically capable of doing it, and their understanding of timing, spaces, units, and how they have to do it is getting better and better every single day, and they want to do it. They feel much comfortable playing that kind of game, that playing a different way. They feel it, and when somebody feels it, I think it's much more efficient when he needs to do it.
Look, Mikel, the final question from us. Who knows what this season brings for you? All you'll be doing, I'm sure, is concentrating on the most number of points possible, but you've got something completely different to deal with, which is this huge break in the middle of the season. The World Cup is coming up after you've played Wolves. What are you planning, because I know you're a man that plans for everything, what are you doing to make sure that this World Cup doesn't sort of cause too much disruption and derail the form that you've found?
That plan is not finished yet. We are planning to win again on Wednesday and to win again on Sunday, and they will have time to finalize what we have to do. We have some ideas of how we can help our players to maintain, first of all, the mental state in the right way for the ones that are going to be here and the ones that are going to be in the World Cup, and then how we're going to reunite everybody. But I think for every manager, every club is going to be a challenge because it's unprecedented.
Is communication the key for those players, especially that aren't with you?
Yes, and try to maintain them involved, but at the same time, you know, they have to focus on the national teams, and they won't have time to do that after next week, and we cannot be too much on top of them because we don't want to add pressure. We're going to give them support and hope for the best, and I will see what the future brings.
Good man. Well, look, one more game before the break, and then I would say enjoy a bit of time on the beach, but knowing you, that won't be part of the plan.
It is actually part of the plan, yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Have a good Christmas.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Actually, in some ways, you know, from one manager to another, to have that as part of the